What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and I am over the top panicked, stressed, worried that I need to purchase real estate right now. And in this video, I'm gonna explain why. I'm also going to explain why you should feel the same way and do whatever you can to lock down at least one deal or multiple deals as soon as possible. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, I've been investing in real estate for the last 9 years. I currently own over $25 million worth of real estate, and the majority of that is residential real estate. I also own a little bit of commercial and some storage units. Now, in this video, I'm gonna open up the books and break down my exact strategy on why, or I guess how much real estate I try to purchase and why every single year. I'm also going to explain my strategy and why I feel major urgency to purchase it as soon as possible, and why most likely you'll feel the same after watching this video. The only thing that I ask you to do is remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell. And with that said, we're gonna dive into why I feel major urgency to buy real estate and as much of it as I can right now. Now, to understand my urgency, you need to first understand my strategy. Now, if you follow the channel, you know I love purchasing real estate because of the cash flow that it provides, the principal pay down, the appreciation, and the tax benefits. Now, I never like basing my entire strategy around tax benefits. They're just a happy bonus. However, I do like to keep it in mind as I'm going through my decision-making process. Now, I want to buy as much real estate as I possibly can because I'm to the point where all of the cash flow from my current rental properties pays for my lifestyle. Everything else that I make through my sales program, through YouTube, through whatever else I have active income coming in through, I try to spend every single dime of that on rental properties every single year. Now, is that realistic? Not always. As a matter of fact, last year I didn't buy enough rental properties to spend all of the money that I had made last year, which is usually what I like to do. But as a minimum, I like to purchase enough rental properties so that I can use the depreciation from my rental properties so that I avoid the top couple tax brackets. Now, the way that this works is cost segregation accelerates the depreciation on the properties that you purchase so that you can use that depreciation against your income if you are a real estate professional. Now, there are lots of different rules that go into this, but if you're a realtor, full-time real estate investor, you spend more than half your time in real estate, you can take advantage of these tax rules. The reason they're so advantageous is then all of the money that you make, you can avoid paying the tax on the top tax brackets as long as you're taking that money and immediately putting it back into real estate. Now, a lot of people see that this is my strategy and they say, Chandler, this is kind of a hamster wheel where you have to keep buying real estate. Otherwise, if you make money, you're gonna have to pay the tax on that money. And yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works for everyone, right? If you have active income, you have to pay tax on that income, but you do have this little, I don't wanna call it loophole because really it's just pushing taxes into the future. But if you purchase enough real estate, you can use the depreciation against your income so you don't have to pay taxes. For example, let's say I have a year where I make $1 million. And when you make $1 million, the top half of that, you're having to pay extremely high tax rates on. Now, you can use this strategy, and if you spent all $1 million on real estate, then you wouldn't have to pay any tax, but you'd have all of your money into real estate. The way cost segregation works is for every 25 cents that I spend on real estate, I get 40 cents ballpark off of my taxable income. Now, this fluctuates because you have to pay for someone to come and do reports on your rental properties to do the cost segregation studies, and usually that comes in that 40 to 45% of the total purchase price can be used as depreciation year one. Now, again, it depends on what they find in the property. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but that's kind of my strategy. So what I try to always do is spend enough knowing that for every 25 cents I spend, I get 40 cents off of my taxable income. I want to spend enough so that I can eat away at those top tax brackets so that I can avoid, or I guess defer, those taxes. Now, that's all I'm going to say about my tax strategy. The reason that I want you to understand this is that helps me set a minimum in real estate that I purchase every year, because it makes more sense for me to buy real estate than it does to give that money back to the government. Now, I'm not anti-tax. I pay tons of property tax. I still pay tons of state tax, and I still pay a good chunk in federal taxes, but this is something the government incentivizes, and I like to take advantage of it because I win because I buy more real estate, which creates more cash flow. The government wins because they get me to buy more real estate. Okay, now that we've covered that, here is why I am panicking. Right now, we are in a situation where inflation is going like this. Now, because inflation is going up very quickly, that's also making it so that everything is going up. The cost to build is getting more expensive. The cost of apartments is getting more expensive because rents are getting more expensive. And so as inflation increases and we're in this market with extreme demand and low supply, prices are going through the roof. Now, the Fed has also come and they've said, hey, we're going to increase interest rates 6 times this next year, and they've already done one of those bumps. That means there are 2 things at play right now that are affecting my buying power. Not only are prices going up, but interest rates are going up. Now, in the past, prices have still been going up, but interest rates have stayed in a pretty comfortable place, and you still negotiate and can find good deals. And that's one thing you need to remember, is it doesn't matter what market you're in, you can always find good deals. However, here's why I'm concerned. With inflation going crazy, everyone thinks their property is worth more than it is. And with interest rates bumping up, I know that it's going to take a while for the market to adjust, if it adjusts at all. What I mean by this is, by principle, if interest rates go up, that affects your buying power drastically. Now, I'm gonna give you a little example here, and I'm gonna use the CDS rental calculator that I developed to help you run the numbers on rental properties, but it also has an amortization schedule. What this does is it shows you if you borrow money to buy a home with 25% down, or you can change the down, you can change the interest rate, it's gonna show you some comparables. And in this example, I'm gonna show you what a $100,000 property with a 5% interest rate compared to a 3% interest rate, we're gonna see the difference in those payments. Now, keep in mind, for this example, I did a full 25% down, which means we're only borrowing $75,000. And so if you're putting a lower down, it's gonna be even more per $100,000. But when you borrow $75,000 at a 3% interest rate, your payment is only $379, and you're paying $225 in interest every single month. Where at 5%, your payment jumps up to $483, paying $375 in interest every single month. So you take away $379 from your $483, and that's putting you at $104 extra every single month. That's some massive buying power that's affecting you. So when you're living in a market where inflation is happening and prices are going through the roof, there's huge demand right now in almost every single market. Inflation is happening like crazy. In some markets, properties went up in value, so appreciation is happening like crazy too. In some markets, properties went up in value on average by like $70,000 plus. I'm gonna show you a little map here of how much properties went up in equity. And so you've got this crazy market where properties are going up in value like crazy, but now the Fed is going to be increasing rates, and it's gonna take a while for those increased rates to have an impact on pricing. So people still think, oh, the market's going crazy, so I demand a premium for my property. There's not a lot of supply right now, so people are willing to pay that, and rates are going up. And so we're heading into this really scary time where, in my opinion, it's gonna be hard to find good deals because people are willing to pay a premium on top of a premium because you've got higher interest rates and prices are going through the roof because of increased inflation and increased appreciation. Now, if you make fun of the way that I say appreciation, it is what it is because you do in every single video. It's just how I say the word. On top of that, we are in a market right now where no one can find anywhere to rent either. So rents are going through the roof on top of people's perceived value. So not only are rents going up, but then people think that their value should be a lot higher than usual. So historically, you'd look at the rents and say, oh, like you should buy a property at a 7 cap based on these rents. Where now people are buying properties at like 4 or 5 caps based on what the rents are, and the rents are extremely high. And so it's just this total mess where I think we're heading into a time where people are going to be willing to pay way more than they should for property to put them in a safe place. What this does is I think the market's gonna continue to do this. Like, I think it's gonna be a while until the market adjusts and levels out or goes the other direction, just because of the supply and demand issues we're having, the inflation issues, and everything else. On top of all of that, we're going into the summer, which usually ends up being the most competitive time for the real estate market. And after being through COVID and Russia issues and all kinds of craziness, people have kind of taken on the mindset of like, hey, nothing's gonna scare me. You know, you only live once. The world's been crazy lately, so if I find a property I want, I'm gonna buy it. So in my mind, here's how I'm looking at things. I think right now, the market's crazy, but it's only gonna get crazier. Prices are gonna get more expensive. Your buying power is gonna go down, and it's gonna take a while for everyone to adapt to that. So I'm really worried that it's only going to get more and more difficult going into the end of the year to be able to purchase properties. And if I have my minimum amount of property that I need to purchase, I'm stressed out because I don't wanna wait till the end of the year hoping I'll find a good deal and then not finding a good deal. And now I'm sitting on cash when inflation is going crazy and I'm gonna have to pay taxes on that cash. And so it's just kind of a stressful, overwhelming thing to be in this market with a strategy of investing in real estate. Now, I'm sharing this video with you because this is how I'm feeling. This is how I think you should be feeling because I do believe it's important, but I also want to emphasize the importance of not overpaying for properties. All I'm really emphasizing is the importance of doing whatever you can to create deal flow right now, because I do think things are going to get more and more aggressive as we go into the summer. Now, I usually get lucky and find good deals in November and December because with the holidays, a lot of other investors have backed off. But this year, I'm worried about being able to buy what I need to buy because I had a good year last year. I'm hoping to have another good year this year, and I need to buy enough real estate to keep up with it. So here is my advice. Do whatever you can to create good deal flow. That means connecting with realtors, wholesalers, find off-market deals, connect with other investors, change 1031 exchanges, do whatever you can to create deal flow. Make sure that you keep good reserves because I'm not saying I know what this market's going to do. Literally anything could happen. We're dealing with craziness. The one thing that we know is not going to happen is in the course of the next year, I do not see there being this massive supply and shortage in demand where you're gonna be able to find all these crazy deals. I don't think we're gonna see that in this year. So you need to prepare for a way to find good deals in what's going to continue to be a very competitive market filled with inflation and appreciation. Finally, on top of buying right and setting aside reserves, I think you also need to do whatever you can to lock in good interest rates for as long as you can. 30 years fixed, those make me comfortable. Balloon payments make me scared, especially balloon payments at 5 years or adjustable rates at 5 years. I've made a rule where I'm not gonna do any less than 10-year adjustable rates, and even that makes me nervous. So I'd probably only do that on a 20, maybe a 25-year AM. On a 30-year AM where the rates adjust at 5, that's the kind of crap that really scares me because I do think we have risk of having very high interest rates 5 years from now. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I want to prepare for the worst and do everything I can to create the best. And that's why my advice to you is if your strategy is similar to mine, do whatever you can to create good deal flow right now so you can try and lock in good interest rates before they go too crazy and find a good deal before they get even more difficult to find. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell. If you disagree with me, please let me know in the comments and let me know why, because maybe my strategy is flawed, even though I feel pretty good about how I'm feeling, even though I don't because I'm stressed about it. Again, if you liked the video, it'd mean the world to me if you smash the like button, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the future videos. And if you're like, Chandler, I don't know how to buy real estate, you can pick up my real estate investing course down in the description. If you're super green and you don't know how to get into it, go watch my other videos first, make sure it's a good fit for you, and then check out the course. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.